Hey, it's Tim here with Expert Power Wash, and today I have another pressure washing truck skid to show you guys. This is for a guy up in Seattle, Dylan. This thing came out pretty awesome. Let's take a look at this thing. All right, we got an aluminum 8-foot pressure washing skid here. Of course, the skids that we have made here local are absolutely amazing. Built super strong, 1/4-inch aluminum. Things are practically bulletproof. Got the forklift pockets in there. We'll start over here at the pressure washer. It is the CRX, 8 gallon a minute, 3,500 PSI. Got a quick oil drain there. And then we upgraded the wiring here. This is double insulated extreme USA wire, 6 gauge. That comes in there. Goes down in through the bottom there, if you can see in there. We like to hide everything and keep it as clean as possible. There's the pressure washer. This is a gear drive, TSF 2021. It'll focus there. This is one of our favorite pumps. Got a K7 unloader. Of course, that's block mounted, really the only way to run those. Otherwise, you're going to have issues with your pump. And then we have a 45 here that we added to make the suction line flow a little bit better. That is 1 inch. Going on over here, we have the Midwest mixer. This is a 3/4 high flow hydro mixer. You'll notice that some of the valves and the hose in there is oversized. If you look at the way that we have all the hoses there, everything is ran really clean, custom lengths. Like to keep this stuff as clean as we possibly can. This is on a custom mounting bracket and plates. I'll show you the back side when we get to the other side that houses the pump. We got a 7-gallon soap tank. This is actually bolted in from the underneath, so it's not going to go anywhere. Going on over to the buyer's box, we don't use those cheap aluminum paper thin boxes that you see on Amazon. These are built nice and stout. You can mount things to them, and inside of them you don't have to worry about them falling apart. You can see the wiring there. We have it all neatly ran, pops in through the bottom. If you go on over here, you don't see any wiring. Everything is mounted underneath. Couple goodies here in the box. We are using the downstream bypass from FlowPro. I'll show you that when we get to the other side. Super happy with their products. Really haven't found anything that beats some of the stuff that they're putting out. Got some knickknacks there, some brass fittings. We don't typically use this stuff when we run ours. That's why it's in the bag there. We run all stainless steel, and that's what this skid has. Got an M5 twist, that's for downstreaming. And then we have a DN10 ball valve. This one is the one with the swivel. All stainless. We got the Softwash J-rod right there with the right nozzles. So that's all clean. You could put a few more things in there if you'd like. We typically just keep ours clean. All right, we'll shut that up and we'll look at the top here. This is a 3-way flush for the mixer. You can see it's custom mounted. These are stainless steel mounts. The nuts, bolts are all stainless. These are banjo fittings. This is 3/4. So when it's pointing towards the chemical, you're pulling chemical. When it's pointing towards water, you're pulling water. And the way that that works is if you go on over here, the chem line, we're able to pull water through the chemical line. And that completely rinses out the mixer and the pump. All right. Going on over to the back here. Not really a whole lot to see. This is what butts up towards the cab. You can see that the way that we have these fabbed up, they go in behind these 2x2 aluminum pieces here and it locks them in. We got a 12-inch reel. It's a little tight on this side. I'm going to go on over to the other side and come around that way. Kind of give you an overall shot again of how everything's ran. Maybe we'll just jump in here real quick and then go on over to the other side. So we have a Boyd's 11-gallon aluminum gas tank here. These things are made like you would not believe. We used to use the Northern Tool ones. They're a little bit thinner. These ones are a little bit nicer built. So you can put a gauge in there if you'd like to put a gauge in there. It's bolted down. Pressure washing gun there. You see that the way that we plumb this up, I didn't really show you there, but we have a banjo Y filter that keeps the water that's running into the pressure washer filtered out and keeps it clean. These are super easy to get all the sediment out. You just pull the plug or the cap there, and you can rinse that out and pull the debris out. We have a drain hose here. This is 1 inch. We started doing it this way because these just work better. This is the nice rubber hose instead of using like poly braid. And then if you see the end here, we have these custom crimped on. So try to eliminate as much hose clamps as we possibly can. All the fail points. We use them where we have to use them. And then we'll take a look at the other side here while we're looking at this. There's the drain. And then we have these two tanks plumbed together, and I'll explain why we do that in just a second. But we put bulkheads in there. Those are all banjo fittings, polypropylene. We try not to use any Schedule 80 or regular PVC fittings because they'll crack a little bit quicker. The bleach tank's in the back. So I'll explain the two tanks in just a second, as soon as we get done walking this other side. So starting right here, this is the Softwash reel. It's an 18-inch. This is a King's manual reel. We got the HydroFlex 1/2-inch Softwash hose on there. We crimp all our fittings here, so there's not a hose clamp there. You can see that's been custom crimped. We have a crimper in-house here. We can do this. Quick connect, 1/4-inch quick connect, so the J-rod can connect to that. Suttner Softwash gun. Going on over here. This is that downstream bypass. So this is not the Flow Pro electronic one. This is something that Judd puts out that's available. So if you look at this, there's some brackets there. It's really hard to see, but these T's say Flow Pro on them. It's all stainless. There's a super sud sucker injector right there. And then the way that we have this set up, our jumper hose quick connects there, or we can take it, let me flip this back up, and jump it into the reel. So completely bypass the reel, plug it in there. But say you do want to use the reel, you just have a quick pull off something beside the road, you could still use the reel. A lot of times when I see people bypass the reels, they don't make it so you could use the reel if you wanted. You see the hose hanging down there. So once this gets loaded up on a truck, that's when we prime the pump and do all that. So this is all ready to go. As soon as we prime that pump, we prime it down on the ground and then cut the hose down and then connect it once it's all primed up. That's how we do it. All right, going over to the pressure washer reel. We usually put Fierce Jet pressure washing hose on all our builds. This customer has their own pressure washer hose, so he wants to use that. But we use a 2-wire jumper, and this is just for storage. So this is 4 foot long, it just wraps around one time. Makes it super easy so you can put your hose on. We use 45s on these. I'll show you here if I can get this to spin around. So you can see right there, see how that just lays a little bit nicer onto the hose reel. So that's something a little extra that we do. right, going on over here, we got 3/4 going into the tank. Hudson float valve inside the tank. This is a 12-inch reel. If you're doing an 8-foot skid and you're using manual reels, the best way to fit these on is 2 18s and 1 12, because you need room for the handles. All right. This is so you can pull water through the injector. So we got a little 3-way 1/4 inch right there. So you can, what the bypass does is it turns your soap on and off, but it just stops it from flowing into the injector. You really need to add this to be able to, when your soap's on over at the bypass, you turn this towards water, and then you can pull water through your injector, and that rinses it out and makes it last a little bit longer. This one here, he has his own garden hose. I think he's going to use 5/8. I would recommend 3/4 if you possibly can. There's a look again at the back. Let's go talk about those tanks and what we did there. We're going to get up on the skid here. I'll show you a couple things, and we'll wrap this video up. So you can see that we're using uniseals. Some of the areas where we put hoses in is we just undersize it, and it goes in there super tight. This is airtight. Same thing we did over here. It's just one less fail point. So when the hose can continuously run into the tank, I'll show you here. These are uniseals here. If you look in there, the hose runs continuously through. And then we have a slotted bleach filter there at the bottom. PVC there to hold it down. Okay, let me explain these tanks. A lot of times people ask, why use 2 water tanks and not just one? Well, you can use one, but there's a couple different reasons. So one, capacity. Instead of 100, you have 200. And the second is to, not completely eliminate, but to minimize the sloshing effect. So say you're carrying water. These are, I don't have the exact measurements, but they're just over 1 foot wide. So it's really not going to slosh very much. And then the last reason, which most people don't really think about, is if you look at the tank and the way that this is plumbed, you'll notice I have everything running into this second tank. So the water tanks are the front two here. So everything runs into there, all the hoses. Over on the other side, the water fills to the second one. The only thing coming out of this one here is I have the drain, and usually you're draining when the pressure washer is not hooked up. And then I have, if we can get a shot over here, that's where it pulls water from. So when you're washing, you don't have the bypass running or sloshing or anything to mess with the water that you're pulling. So this is completely unrestricted. You don't have any PVC filters in the way. Nothing in the way of pulling water straight to the machine. So if you see in there, nothing. And that's why we plumb them with 2 tanks. So, I was going to show you, here's a look at the top. It's going to show you the backside here. So these are our new favorite pumps. We got them on, I think, 6 different trucks out there right now, and we haven't had any issues with them. So heavy duty switch air, we get these from Midwest. We also sell them local. We're a vendor for them now. This is a 7-gallon, 100 PSI pump. There's a look at how we have it plumbed there. You can see some of the hoses. Get a look at that side. We're starting to put serial numbers on our skids that we're building so we can keep track of all the skids out there. So these are our new nameplates. This is skid number 3. We should probably be on skid number 5 or 6, I think, currently. These are out of Oregon City, Oregon. So if this is something that you guys want, we can build these for you. As you can tell from the video, I don't build them cheap. I don't cut a whole lot of corners. I try to use the best possible products and stuff that we have available to us to put these things together. Every nut and bolt on here is all stainless. There's so much stainless on this thing, it's crazy. That stuff adds up. I don't use any nickel plated or any of the other stuff. We don't want this thing to rust out. We don't want it to fall apart. I want it to keep on going for you guys for a long time to come. So if you're looking for a custom built high quality skid, let me know. Another thing too here I didn't mention, a lot of people fill up the bottom of the skid here. And the way I like to do this here, if you needed to load stuff, I don't know what all you'd load, maybe a second machine or a garbage can or a Skyvac, who knows what it is. You can still use your bed space here. I think that's important for people. All right, guys. If you have any comments, questions, throw them down below. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video.